Good day, coders. Welcome back to BugArray, and we are back with another Angular front-end development series. So in this video, we'll be creating the English Premier League table log, right? So before we start with the dev, let's go to the screen and actually I'll run through a demo of what we're going to be creating in this video. All right. So what we'll be creating here is actually two components, which the first component is going to be this English Premier League tables component, right? That's going to render all the clubs together with the statistics of the match played, wins, draws, losses, and so on, right? And then the next component right here that we're gonna build is actually this keywords component, or you can call it a key color component. That's gonna actually have like the description that this blue color actually symbolizes the teams that qualify for the UEFA Champions League. And then we've got this orange color that symbolizes teams that are qualifying for the Europa League, and this red colors classify teams that are potentially going to the relegation, right? So how we're gonna go about actually getting these clubs, we're gonna have some sort of JSON file that's gonna mimic our API, that's actually gonna retrieve all these clubs together with their images and also the statistics right there. So with all that being said, now let's get to the dev part and let's get to work. Alright, coders. So first and foremost, we'll run through like what we have set up for this project. So important note is when you create this English Premier League as app, right, you'll just select yes to routing and select this S.CSS, the SCSS styling, right? So what we have here in our apps HTML, right, is just this router outlet, right? And then another thing that we have also set up is this themes folder, which is on the source folder, right? Inside it, we've got this themes.scss. So here we've got the colors here, which is from the primary, secondary, and this blue color, right? We also have this spacing, which consists of the main, sub, padding, and the zero spacing, right? The same goes for the fonts. We also have the header font and the detail fonts, right? So also in our assets folder, we've got this dummy folder, dummy data, which has inside it this league JSON, which will actually mimic our English Premier League tables API, right? So what we have in there is the name of the club, the image of that club, the match played, the number of wins, number of draws, number of losses, the number of goals for, number of goals against, the number of goal difference, and the points. So this is stored in this array, this array of objects, right? So yeah, with that being said, right, now let's move on to the next section where we actually go about creating the folders we're gonna need for this actual application. So we'll go to our apps, click new folder, we'll create a components folder, right? The next folder that we're gonna create is our interfaces folder, right? Then the next one we're gonna go about creating is our services folder, right? Then I think the last one is the pages folder. All right, so now we've got all our folders that we're gonna need for this application, right? So the next thing that we'd want to do is actually create first page, which is like the home page, right? So for that we'll need to go to the cd source app, and then we want to go to the pages folder, right? They will generate a component for the home page. So we'll wait for that to finish. Okay, that's done. And then now we'd want to go to our app slash routing module to actually set up that route. So the actual route that we've set up is this path. When the path is empty, we want to actually go to this home component, right? So home, let's just see if it's going to the right component. No, this has to go to the home component, right? Yeah, home page, because it's in the pages home, and that's the home component. So that's fine. Now let's just serve and see if that's running. This might take some time if you're running for the first time. So yeah, let's see what we have. Alright, so now we can actually go to our local host and it'll show that the home page works. So now the next component, we want to now stop the server, right? We could clear that. The next thing that we want to create is actually our league tables component. So we'll cd out of this folder, now cd into the components folder, and actually generate this component, which is the league table component, right? And wait for that to finish. Now that's done. So now, since that's created, we can just run it using this ng-serve. Right. And meanwhile that's running, we can actually go to our home page and remove this home works and just put in this leagues table there, right? So now we have to have this league table works, right? So let's actually now create what's going to be rendered on the leagues table. So for that, we'll need to have a div. We'll have a div, right, called league table, right? And in this div, we'll want to have a table, because this is the table that's actually going to show our stats, right? Or actually our data for what's actually happening in the English Premier League table. Right, so what we'll need over there is actually have a table row, right? So we'll want to give this row an ID called header, because this will be our header, right? And then for that we'd wanna render what's gonna be showed on the header, right? So for that we'll need this th and club, because we first want to have the club's data. All right, so we'll copy that, paste that 8 times. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, right? So what we'll have here is the match played. Next we'll have the wins. Next we'll have the draws. Next up we'll have the losses. The next one, so it's losses, that's the goals for. The next one would be goals against. Next one will be goal difference, and the last one will be points. So now that we have our header, let's see. So we can see that we have that there, right? So what we'd want to do is actually apply some styling, right? But before that, we can just wrap this into a T head, right? So we'll just cut this and paste it over here, right? So now that we have done that, we'd actually want to apply some styling, but we'll want to first import our themes. So you'd say import / and then source / themes, then themes.scss. Right, so what we'd want to do, we want to target our header, right? But for that we can say in our table, right, we can have this on the T head, right? Sorry for that. T head there, and then we've got this header, right? So with this header, we would want to have a border top, which is 1 pixel. It should be solid, and then the color for it will be from the primary color, right? So let's see if that shows. As you can see, it's not showing as yet, right? So how to go about fixing that, we'll need to say border slash collapse, so that it actually applies border collapse equals to collapse, so that it actually applies the actual stylings that we have for this table on the SCSS folder, right? So now we can see this border. If we zoom in, we can see that we've got a border over here, right? Now let's zoom back out to 100. Right, so what we'd first want to do is actually ensure that our table fills 100% of the width we have, right? So now everything is spaced out properly. So another thing that we'd want to do is actually set our height for this header to 20 pixels. 20 pixels, right? So after that header of ours is set to 20 pixels, we want to set like a width, right, for that first, that T head, right? But for the first child, right, we'd want to set its width to 45%, right? So now you can see that this width for the first child is actually now 45%, right? So next thing that we'd want to then do is actually now set the width for the other columns, other heads, right? Table heads. Table heads. So there we want to set the width to we want to calculate the width to be, because now we'll be left with 55%. So 55% divided by 8, right? So that should equally that will make them it'll give them an equal width. What am I saying? So it will give them like an equal width, right? So now what we'll also want to do now is that for this first head, we would want to text align this guy, text align to the left, right? So we've got the club to the left, right? And then another thing here we'd want to set is now the color of this text to actually the secondary color, right? Then our font size will actually be our header font, right? So yeah, so now we see we've got that set up for us. Let's see, what did we set our, I think that was kind of 16 pixels. Yeah, that's fine. And then what we'll want to do is actually, let's check. Yeah, I think that's fine. So the next thing that we'd actually want to do is actually now create what's going to be rendered on the body of this table, right? So the body of this table, what we'll have is t body, right? And then we'll want to have a table row, right? This table row, and inside this table row we'll actually have some content rendered there, right? So table row, we've got content rendered there. So we'd want to say that, highlight that. Let's see, that. Just have to bear with me with that. This is the disadvantage of doing like the copy and paste. So that, then TD, right? Okay, that's set up. Let's see what we have now. Okay, we can now see that everything is fine. So over here we'd want to say 1, right? And then we'd want to say the name of the club, which is Chelsea, the actual team that's gonna win the league. Anyways, so we'll then have like sort of 15, 20. We're just gonna put in like random data over there, right? 9. Oh man. Right, just random data. Right? 2, 30, 5, 40, then 41. Right? And see what we have now rendered. Okay, that's fine. So now we'd want to style that, right? So in our actual styling, okay, before we do the styling, we'd want to first like render the actual home, the image of the club. So for that we'll say the span, okay, span, right? So this will be for this class called position, right? This position will just set up what's going to be positioned there, right? Then we'll want to have our image, right? So for our images, let me put this in the next line, right? What's going on now? Okay, so now for our image, then we'll have the span, right? Now the span will actually store the name of our club, so that will be Chelsea, right? So our image will just locate, go to our actual images, dot, then asset folder, then we want to render for Chelsea, / Chelsea, right? So this is club image. All right, so now let's see what we have there. Okay, so now we see that now we've got that, the position, we've got now the name of the club and actually the other data, right? Okay, so next up is actually doing the stylings. So to style that, we want to say our T body, right? But now inside our T body, we want to target our table row, right? And then in there, we would want to target our actual TD, right? So what do we actually want to do with that, right? So for our first TD, so that's for the first child, right? We know in there we've got this position span. So position, so our position, we'd want to set its margin, margin. So for the top and bottom, we'd want to set it to this 0 padding, and then for its left and right, we'd want to set it to main padding, right? Let's see. Okay, that's fine. And then what we want to also set up is for our image, you want to set its width to 23 pixels. 23 pixels, right? Let's see. Okay, that's fine. And then for this image, we want to set its margin right to actually this 10 pixels, which is part of the main padding, right? So that should also space that out there, right? But now what we'd want to do is actually justify our content, right? So for that, we'll just say display, that should be flex, right? Want to justify our content for the table's details, right, to center. Did we actually need that? Let me see. Okay, yeah, we could have that, right? And then align center, because I was thinking we could have also made text align to center. Okay, so now what's going on? So for the first yeah, that's why I was like, nah, we don't need this. So this text align could be center, right? That's fine. And then let's see, and then here we can just say it's text align to the left, right? I think this should do the trick. So position, let's see. No, we didn't actually TD. That shouldn't have been flex. That's why we've got this data like set up like wrong. So what we'll want to do over there is actually remove that, right? Okay, that's fine. All right, that's fine for us. All right. So for the first, actually for this first TD, we want to say this display to flex, right? And then align its items to center. Did that work? Yeah, I think that's fine. And then what we would also want to do is actually set our margin. What do you want to do? Our margin top and bottom, right? So margin top. So we'd want to say our margin top and bottom. So we could have this. So the top and bottom should be set to main or sub padding, right? And then our left and right will be the zero padding, right? So now let's see what we have. Yeah, that's spaced up properly. And then what we'd want to also do over here is actually copy this border right here, and we'll set that there so that we have a border top actually. So that's fine for us. Did we now set the height of the row? Okay, so height would be 41 pixels. That's spaced out perfectly. So next thing we'd want to have is actually see what will happen if we copy this content over here. Put it there and put it there, right? So yeah, now we see that we've got this club, this actually table for this English Premier League table, right? So next thing that we'd want to do actually is now go to the section whereby we are actually integrating this with our mimicked API, right? Or mock API. So for that, before we go about doing that, we'd wanna first, now let's actually mimic that. Let's go to the source because I was thinking of us creating like the interface for that. But we could go about doing that, but let's just start with the service, right? So we're gonna go out of this, cd that, and then cd into our services folder, right? Then we'd wanna ng generate this service. This will be our league API. League table. Let's just say, what do you want to call it? League API. I think that's not bad. Okay, let's just call it Leagues API. Alright, so since we've got now our Leagues API, these services there, right? So we'd want to use this HTTP, right? From this HTTP client, right? HTTP client. Now let's run that. ng-serve. Let's wait for that to run. Alright, so that's running. Alright, so now what we'd want to now do is actually go to our actually create a method, right? So this is get league table data, right? So we want to get this actual league table data. Now we'll have pass in actually a parameter there, which is the name of the file, which is of type string, and this will return any, right? Type any. So we want to return an HTTP, then we want to get. So for us getting this, we want to locate this from our assets folder, / and then that's dummy data, so dummy underscore data, and then we want to target this league .json, but we won't actually write league.json here, but what we'll actually do is have this $sign and these curly braces and pass in the name of the file .json, right? So that's what we're gonna use. So now that we know, now we're calling this service, right? And then we need to now actually render the data that we're gonna get, right? So in our homes page, what we'd want to do is first have the service, so we'll call this league table service, right? And then from there we'll have this league table service, right? League table service. What's up? Okay, so the error here that we're having is that inside here, whoa, what's going on now? This is from this home page, right? But we don't have actually this HTTP client, right? Module. We want to have an HTTP client module, which is imported. Import from this HTTP client and client module, which is imported from this Angular. So it's Angular common / HTTP, right? So they're saying this is listed in many places. What's up? Well, that's crazy. Okay, that's crazy. We should have that. And then in our routing app.route, we do have that. So over here, let's see what the issue is. Oh, quick fix. What? Okay, that's actually weird, right? Because what we want to have is this. This is actually kind of weird. Let's see what the actual problem is, right? HTTP client. Let's remove that. All right. So now that's working, right? So now let's go to this home and set up this private league table service, right? Which is actually this league table service. Yeah, that was kind of weird. Okay. So now what we can now do is this league table dot get from that method we're trying to get. So now what we want to pass in there is actually the name of this file, right? Which is now league. But we're not going to write .json because on our actual service we did specify that it's from this .json folder. So what we then want to do is say to want to make this a promise, right? And then we'll use this .then, right? In this then we'll have our results, which is of type any for now, I guess. And then this will then console.log our results, right? And then we'll catch our error in cases where there is an error. Want to catch that error and just console.log that error, so the error that we have. So now what we have is, let's actually inspect that. Let me bring this down here, right? So now we see that we've got this array with like this 15 records in that array. So we know that we're gonna use that data, right? But firstly, we'd want to actually set up like an interface that's gonna store like the name, the actual name, from the match played, wins, draws, losses, and so on, so on. So actually, the actual fields, or yeah, in that JSON, right? So what we'll need to do in order to achieve that, let's just first clear that. We'd say cd out. So go out of that file. Now we would want to go to our interfaces file, right? Then we'd go about creating our interface. So ng generate interface. So this will be league. So this will be a league slash table. No, let me just call it club data. Yeah, I think that's fine, not bad. So here what we'll have there is this. So let's just come here. We want to just copy this, right, and go to our actual interface. Want to paste that, right? So we'd want to say, want to replace all these codes with an actual empty. All right, that's fine. So now what we want to do is the name will be of type string. This will also be a string. Then the rest will be numbers. So number, number, that will be a number. That will be a number, 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 and a number. Alright, so that's sorted. So let's serve that. Alright, while that's running, so now what we'd want to do is actually come to this TS folder, right? And then over there we'd want to say want to create this from this public, and then we'll have a club. You can actually remove that access modifier public. It'll still work because Angular has publics as its default access modifier. So you'd have class data, a club data, right, colon, and then this will return, we want to have it as an array which will take in this club's data, right? So with that, and then we'll equate this to an empty, just initialize it to an empty array, right? So now what we'll then do is say this club data, right, equals to this results that we're gonna get, right? So when we console log this dot club data, club data, we should actually get the same results, right? So that's actually fine. So now what we then want to do is actually now display the data we'll need, right? But before we actually have that, we'll actually create like our input, because we'll actually be passing this this guy. Wanna see? So this is there, right? So we'll need to have an input so that the parent actually passes the data to this leaks table, which is actually the child component. So to achieve that, we'll need to have this at input, right? This input, and then this input will be club data, or yeah, club data, right? And that will be an array of club data. All right, club underscore data, that's still fine. And then we'll initialize that to an empty array. Then we need to have this brackets. So since the data is going to be passed into that, now over here we'd want to say this club data, right? And we'll pass club underscore data. No, club data. Okay, that's fine, right? So now what we'll need to now do is we can also console log that if you want to just see if that's club data. So now in our console log we'll have these two arrays, right? So the first and this second one, right? I guess. So did we save everything? Okay, I think that's gonna work. I don't know. I think it is gonna work. Now let's see. Moment of truth. So bam. So now what we'll need to now do is actually have in this clubs here. So we'll need to say an ng4, right? That's gonna iterate through our component. So here, before we actually do that, wanna say just render this if wanna render this if this club, there is something in our club underscore data, right? Yeah, only render that if we only have data there. I don't know, is this gonna work? This just looks a bit wrong. Let's remove that and see if we've got this over here. Okay, let's just see. Moment of truth. Let's just wait and see. All right, so what we'll need to do is say an ng4 here. So this is star ng4, right? So we'll say let club of club underscore data, right? And then this will be saying let I equals to the index of that, right? Oh yeah. So what's actually going on with club data? Don't we have that in there? Oh, club data. So the D is actually a capital D. So D is capital. So over here, we'd want to render the index plus 1. Actually, this is the index plus 1, right? So it doesn't start at 0, right? So here we'll remove this guy, right? And actually render this club.name, right? So here we'll actually have club.mp match played, right? So over here we'll have that, have that, have that, have that. I don't think this is gonna render anything, but we'll see. Let's just see. Let's just see. Nothing is actually displayed. Club Chelsea, Chelsea, Chelsea. Okay, why do we have that? Oh, it's because of that. Okay, now let's remove that and that. Now let's see. Actually see what we have in there. Right? So 19, 19, 19. Okay, this is not supposed to show that. What's actually going on? That's 15, 19, 19, 19. Where are we getting that from? Oh, yeah. Sorry for that. So this should display the image, right? This should display the win. This should display the draws. This should display the losses. This should be getting that from the goals for, right? Goal against, goal difference, and the points. So points, right? And we have that. So now we need to remove is that. So now we have this table over here, right? But now what we'll need to do next is actually do some changes, right? So the next section is actually to identify which teams are actually in the UEFA Champions Leagues, which team is actually in the Europa League, and which teams are being prepared, like, or actually on the road to getting to going to the actual, what's this, relegation, right? So how to go about doing that is actually we're gonna create a component, right? Okay, now what's going on? Let me clear that, have a new terminal, because that just didn't want to die. So with this one, I'll just cd into my src, my apps, and then components, right? This component, I would want to ng generate this component called league key words. So this is just a keyword component, right? The league's keyword component. So this is just to classify the actual keywords, or to classify like the teams in this English Premier League table, right? So we'll go to this league keyword right over there, and then what we'd want to do is actually, let's first come here and actually see if that's going to be rendered. So keyword, right? So here, and then we'll have an app, and then we'll just render this keyword and clear that and ng serve that. Now let's see what we have. Right, moment of truth. Let me just save this guy over here, and we should see that should be displayed on the bottom. Why isn't it? Oh yeah, so we've got this league key works. So we know that that component works. Now we have to actually create that component. So we'll have a keyword container, right? So inside this container we'll have actually the first paragraph, which will actually say what is it called? We can search that. EPL table, right? So what we'll need to have over there is the qualification / relegation, right? So qualification slash relegation, right? And then the next thing that we want to have here is the key word. So this is keyword sections, right? Keyword section. So this is the keyword section, right? So what we'll have there over there is just a square, right? And the first one will be blue. Man, what do we want to call this? This is the blue color, right? That's what we'll have for the first key, I meant to say. Man, because we want to have a key, right? So that should be I'll type blue color, right? Then the next one should be orange. So the next one should be orange. And the next one should be red, for the red color, right? So what we'll then have there is that p text, and then there will say UEFA Champion League group, right? UEFA. How do you spell that? UEFA. I was right. So I just need to remove that. Right? So I'll also copy this, paste it here, copy that, paste it there. Right? So for this one, this is going to be for the Europa League group. Right? And then these are for the teams that are about to go into the relegation. So relegation. Alright, so now what do we have over there? So we've got that text, right? So for now, what we'll then need to do is actually to, I don't know why, this watch of mine, please bear me with that sound. Okay, that's switched off. So let me now copy this keywords, right? And then what I also want to do is say import. I want to import from my /source themes, and then that's themes.scss. So my keywords, and in my keywords I've got a p tag, right? This is a p tag, and then the font size for that, actually the font weight for that will be a bold text, right? Making everything bold, right? So I've also have a keyword. I also have a keyword section, right? So for this keyword section, what I'll need to do is for this keyword, I want to display. Do I need to display? Keywords, and then I've got this key, right? For this key, I would want to set the display to flex, right? Display that to flex, right? And in these keys, I also have a section called square, right? So square, I would want to set a square to the width. So the width of the square will be 10 pixels. And the height of the square will be 10 pixels, right? So I'll also have my colors over here, which will be that blue color, right? Which its background will actually be from this blue / color, right? Now let's see what we have. Okay, that's there. Okay, that's working. Then we want to have for our orange color, right? So our orange color, the background for that will actually be just our normal orange, right? Then same goes for our red color. So for our red color, then we'll just have red, right? So hence you can see here, this blue color is coming from this div, this orange is coming from this div, and this red color is coming from this div. So the reason why I set the keys display to flex is so that both these are set up in one, like in just one line. So how you can now go about seeing that is by this. So if I go to the stylings, right, and actually remove this flex, right, you'll see that it will be put in separate lines, right? So if I replace that, and then another thing that I'd want to do is set its flex wrap to actually no wrap. Reason why I'm doing this is so that it always goes to like a single line, right? So that when the screen is shrinked, the text shouldn't automatically go to the next line. It should always stay on one line, right? So that's done. So the reason why this over here is slightly below is because a p tag has a margin to it, right? It has this margin set to it, right? So if the margin over here was set to 0 pixels, you'll see it would go on one line, right? So what we'd want to do then in that instance is set that p tag, so the margin should be set to 0 pixels, right? So that margin now is set to 0 pixels. And then what we'll then want to do is actually set its what we can do is actually say the top and bottom. No, just set the margin to 0, and then we'll just set the left of that margin to probably what do we want to set there? We'd want to set no, fam. So what we can set over here is this margin right, actually. So for the square, so we're setting a margin right for the square to space these squares and the text. So we'll set this to our sub. This is, I think it's sub padding, right? So that's going to be set to sub padding, right? And then what we also want to set up is, since we've got that over there, right? That's spaced out. And then we would want to set the whole background of this card. So background to this secondary color. Do you want to set it? No, primary color. Let me see. Primary color. Let's see if we set it to primary color. Yeah, that's nice. That's looking all nice. And then we want to set the padding for this to actually be let's see. We'd want to set this padding to actually be of this main. Let's make it main padding. To this main padding. Right, that's fine. And then we'd want to set its radius, right? Border radius can be set to actually just make it 5 pixels. How about that? Let's see. 5 pixels isn't actually bad. We can now set the box sizing to border box, right? That's fine. All right, that's looking all nice. Okay, now this actual text, right? Here, these UEFA Champions League, this and that. We don't want to set that to bold, because now this upper padding is now rendering the bold font weight to all these paragraphs, right? So we'd want to say this font weight is actually normal, right? Normal. And we can remove the 0 pixels with the actual 0 padding, because we have 0 padding in our actual sorry for that. So that's fine. But now we see that the content in there is not actually aligned properly to the center. So what we'll do is align items to center. So we've got everything centered out. Now we see that everything is centered out. All right. So now we actually have now a key what do you call this? We actually have our key words, right? Our keywords, but this has no meaning to it, or it has no purpose, because we're not seeing where we're actually using these keys. So what we'll then do over there is now write logic that's actually gonna render like a blue just a blue color here for the first 4, because the rules are of the English Premier League is that the first top 4 teams qualify to go to the UEFA Champions League, and then the team on the 5th spot actually, oh flip, there's something wrong that I did in rendering my data. Before we go about that, here I'm seeing every team is like Chelsea, Chelsea, Chelsea. We needed to say club.name, right? So we've got different teams now, right? So the first 4 goes to the UEFA Champions League. The 5th one qualifies to the Europa Europa League, right? And then this last 3 should actually be red, because now those are the teams that are like about to go into the relegation, right? So how to go about doing that is actually coming to this component over here, right? Which is now this tables, right? So what we'll do over there is actually set this guy over here, right? So we'd want to set a class for that. And the class is actually an ng class. We want to set an ng class, right? And then, which is actually going to set a blue for blue side, right? Blue side. In order for it to render a blue side, it should meet this condition. If I, right, plus 1, because it starts counting from 1, is less than or equal to 4, right? And then it should render that, right? It should call that class. So if then another one will be for the orange side, orange/side. So this one, the condition that it should meet is actually if I, right, plus 1 equals to 5, then that should meet that condition, right? And render that. Oh, there's something I didn't do. Didn't close this guy off. Is that what I needed to do? Wait up. Let me put this in one line. Oh, sorry, that was closed there, right? And then this class over here, if in order for it to get this red side class, right, the condition that should be met is if I plus 1, right? If I plus 1, right, plus 3, right? No, if I plus 3 actually. So if I plus 3 is actually greater than or equals to this club underscore data dot length, right? Because now for this condition we want to check that if I plus 3. So for instance, if we here and we plus this by 3, so this won't actually be 13, it will be 12 because it's index 12. If index 12 plus 3, so it will be 13, 14, right? So if you plus that by 3, if it's equal to the actual length or greater than the length, that means it's the last 3 teams that have to go to relegation, right? So if we go about saving that, we see that these classes still don't have any purpose, right? So how we can go about fixing that is now going to this table's HTML, right? And then for that we'll need to say blue side, right? And then we'll need to say border left, because we want to render that for the border left, right? And then we'll render that to 3 pixels, right? Solid, and the color for that will be this blue color, right? Let's see. Okay, that's rendered for the first 4 teams. Okay, that shouldn't have been done for that. Let me see. Think that is fine. It's just now for this first one over here, because I don't want to have a padding for that. Let's see. So this TD, it has a margin top and bottom. Do we have some sort of padding? So if we don't have any padding, then why is that set up there? It shows we've got padding for that. And that padding is coming from this span. So we've got a span over there of the position 0, right? And then we want to say the padding, we want to set that to actually 0, right? Is that the one? Let's actually see, right? Blue, this guy has a padding, right? So for this one we want to set its padding to actually 0, right? For the first one, let's see. Oh, because it's aligning that to center, that's why, I think. It's because it's aligning these guys to center. So actually, is that the case? Let's see. Let's remove that. But that's removed, right? And now let's see. Right? Okay, we'll get back to that. We'll actually get back to that one. So now what we'll need to do is set this orange, right? Orange side, right? Then the border left. Wanna say border left. This will be orange, just this orange, this normal orange. And then this one will be set to red, right? And that's for the red side. So this red side will be set up to red, right? Now we see that this first 3 guys these first 3 guys, so when we see now our table, we actually now see that these first 4 qualify to go to the UEFA Champions League. This 5th one will qualify for the Europa group, and then Europa League, and then this last one will then actually qualify for the relegation. Yeah, so that's done, right? So now what we then actually wanna fix is so that this thing is sort of like also mobile responsive a bit. It has a bit of like some mobile responsiveness, Because right now what we have over there is, okay, it does have a it is mobile responsive, but we'll just want to set some padding, right, to this table. So in order to do that, we'll need to go to the home page, right, and actually cover this guy in a div. So this will be league content, right? So here we'll copy that, cut that, paste that there, right? So over there with that one, what we'll need to do is in the home page, we'd want to import /source, and then this is from the themes, and that's from the themes.scss, right? And then that's that. This is the league's content. So we want to set the padding. So the top and bottom could be set to 10, which is from this main spacing, and then the left and right we can just set 50 pixels. So the left and right. So now that's going to be set up like that. Yeah. So with what we have like currently, we actually like done. So we can just do some fixing to this code, and how we can go about doing that is actually by actually by coming here to the leagues, right? Set some bit of some padding in this header, right? So in this header we would want to set the padding top and bottom. So the top and bottom will be the sub space, and then the left and right will be from the 0 padding, right? Let's see. This is sub. This is no. Do we want to set that for this table? Oh man, what did I do? Now we want to set this for this header. Okay, that's nicely spaced. Now since that's nicely spaced, let's go to this headache that we had and try to fix that. Let's see. I'll give that a couple of like maybe 3 minutes. If you can't, then yeah, you'll write in the comment section how to go about fixing that. But besides that, like we actually done already, we've actually solved this and created this English Premier League table, right? So let's just copy this guy right over here. Just say copy. Am I right? I think that's fine. Yeah, just cut, I meant to say. No, I didn't cut everything. Cut this and put it here in this table row. Now let's see, moment of truth. All right. So now that's working. Now that's working. So now since that is working, so in our tables row, what we'll want to then do is actually come here. Let's see. Did we set that? Oh, okay. So we'd want to say padding bottom. Want to pad the bottom to like 1 pixel. Oh man, 1 pixel. Let's see. No, margin bottom, margin bottom, margin bottom, margin bottom, margin bottom to 1 pixel. Is that working? What's up? What's up? Because now what we have over here is that now everything is now, let's set that to 3. Let's see, will that work? Let's say it's important. This is important. Let's see what we have over there. I said 3 minutes. Is our 3 minutes completed? I don't think so. So that's supposed to be margin bottom, right? Border left. What we can do is also set, because we've got this border. No, there's something we did that's crazy. Okay, we've got a border left, right? This is border left, right? But why isn't this margin bottom working? Which is a bit crazy. Because this was supposed to space it, right? Wasn't it? Let's see. Moment of truth. Right? Table. If we said margin top, let's see. But that was supposed to work. This margin bottom was supposed to work. Oh, no. Why is it setting it to the body but not the actual table row? Which is kind of weird. Okay, there is a cheat code to that. How we can go about cheating that is actually by coming over here, right? And see if this one works, then yeah, we're all good. We are all good. So this cuts this and paste it here. Let's just paste it here. Let's see. That's not working either. What? Interesting. Interesting. So we can just say TR, right? And then say margin bottom to just 5 pixels. Let's see. Is 5 pixel gonna work? What? That's still not working, right? The thing is, I just don't want to create. There's something I didn't do right. There's something I didn't do right before I even think about doing that, right? There's this span for this image, right? So what I would want to do is set this position. I would want to set the width, right? The width to actually 5%, right? So that these teams, the actual icons for that are aligned like properly, right? So this margin should be set to, yes, that's fine. That's fine. I needed to fix that. All right. So what next should I do? It's cause, man, I just don't want to set. Let's see. 3 minutes. Our 3 minutes is up, guys. So for you all over there at home, sitting at home, you can just write in the comment section how I can go about like actually fixing that small bug that I have. So the actual bug is I want to have like some white space here so that it actually shows like some separation, right? So that it's just not this one straight line over there, right? I just want to have some spacing or some white color there, right? You can just tell me how I can go about achieving that. You can write that in the comment section. But please, guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Peace.